What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got more Fall of the House of X. This time with the 5th issue and finale of Rise of the Powers of X. And if you guys missed any part of this series, then I'll put up a card for it at the top of the screen. And I'll put up a link at the end of this video as well to the entire Fall of the House of X playlist. But it was in that last issue of this series where we saw all of the mutants resurrected as part of Xavier's plan. And then we also saw Mother Righteous reveal the plans of Xavier to Enigma of resurrecting the Phoenix. And then Enigma countered by gaining access to the past lives of Moira so that he could end the Phoenix before it began. And he also called for backup from the rest of the Dominions in preparation for the oncoming fight against the Phoenix. So if you guys are ready to see this long-awaited battle between the Phoenix and Enigma for the future of everything, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue begins as the Phoenix is reborn. And for a more in-depth look on the Phoenix's rebirth, check out the X-Men Forever portion of the playlist. But as the bird is reborn, it needs to feed in order to be strong enough for the upcoming fight, though Jean refuses to let it eat. But the Phoenix tells Jean that it doesn't need to feed in the way that she thinks. This place in the White Hot Room is where the Phoenix began, and all of the mutants from the waiting room as they pilgrimage to the White Hot Room are waiting to become a part of the Phoenix. So basically, the Phoenix gains its strength from every mutant soul because the White Hot Room exists in the Phoenix. So as it resurrects, it pretty much immediately begins to gain strength. Then we pick up with the mutants on Krakoa after Orchis is fallen, and they all rejoice to their victory. But Rachel reminds everyone that it's not over with just yet, as Jean Grey still has the biggest fight remaining. And Sinister, of course, wants to use his little cheat code, so he asks Destiny what she can see in the immediate future. But Destiny chooses to do what she calls the second kindest thing she'll ever do for him, and that's to not share with him what she sees. Meanwhile, though, the Phoenix is now at full strength and face to face with Enigma prepared to do battle. But when it confronts Enigma, he brags to the Phoenix that its resurrection will be brief, as all of the Dominions have descended from overspace, and together they will ensure that the Phoenix is never a threat to them ever again. But that doesn't scare the Phoenix, as Jean Grey tells Enigma that they're prepared to fight them all if they have to. But then that's when the other Dominions turn on Enigma and tell the Phoenix that she does not have to. Enigma is incorrect, and it's his hubris that does not allow him to ascend, as it still has not been able to escape the burden of linearity like a Dominion should. They wish no harm on Jean or the Phoenix, as it is now and forever. But the Dominions are outside of that, so there's no overlap. And any actions that she takes to defend her domain are acceptable to all of the Dominions. And now that they've left Enigma all alone to defend himself, he's pissed at them. He's came all this way to burn, Jean tells him. He must be very disappointed. But Enigma had a backup plan for this, and he does have other places that he can hide, and then he dares Jean to come and find him before he destroys everything that ever made her. Then we pick up at Orchis HQ on Earth with Charles Xavier as he gets a visit from a special guest, as Moira comes in and tells him that Enigma forbade her to speak with him. But as he goes off to war, she just can't bear it anymore. Why is he here, she questions. And he tells her that he's here to open her mind. So he takes her back to that moment between them on that bench that led to Krakoa. And now Moira is trying to figure out how Xavier was just able to pull her into a mind space like that if she's a robot. But this isn't a telepathic takeover, he tells her. It's just a signal, and she can leave at any moment. But she's a thinking creature and touched the astral plane. And a long time ago, he left a beacon that he can guide this message to. Then he tells her that it's time for her to remember what happened. But what Moira remembers is that Charles came back to kill her, and he even pulled the trigger. But Charles let her live, he tells her, because he was convinced to follow another route, one that involves having faith in her better nature. But Moira tells him that he almost gunned down a 13-year-old, and now he's asking her to take the moral high ground? But that is indeed the case. Meanwhile, though, we pick up with Enigma as his battle with the Phoenix isn't a traditional battle in the sense that you would think, as he goes back to when her parents allowed her to go to Xavier's school for mutants, and he strengthens their will to not let her go. But Jean notices and fixes this change. Then he copies Jean's full personality and implants it into Madeline prior to be activated when Scott says he's gonna leave her. But Jean spots that as well and burns it out before it can initialize. And he moves on and on making changes, but she spots every change and corrects it. But back with Xavier and Moira, Xavier tells her that he knew she would join with Enigma, and her being a small part of it now was exactly what he needed. He knew that if he did the things that Orchis demanded, he'd eventually find his way to her deep within the camp of the enemy and have this chance to make her turn back. But she's finally found an escape from her genes. Why would she back off now, she asks. But that's when Charles fills her in that this Dominion grew from Sinister. It's Nathaniel Essex that she will be making the king of the universe, which she definitely doesn't want. Then he tells her that Jean is fighting him right now across all of the timelines, but she can't land a blow because he keeps fleeing, and she can't find him. But Charles put a signal in Moira's head back when she was 13, so that Jean could find her if she activates it. And then we pick back up with the Jean Grey and Enigma fight as he now starts throwing distractions at her, like turning the sun into a red giant 5 billion years too early. But of course she fixes that as well. He makes uncountable changes, and she has to fix them all. And all she has to do is miss just one of them and he wins. And there's nothing that she can do to stop him, he thinks. But back with the professor though, he tells Moira that all of the things that he's done has led him to putting this moment together. He's done all sorts of things to be here, to ask her to be a better person. But she's gonna have to live with whatever decision she chooses forever. And it's not too late to make the best choice. But Moira tells him that what she wants is to live and not be trapped. But Charles tells her that she took them to Krakoa, and for a while it was wonderful. And this all came from him believing in her. And in the end, he'd hate to have been wrong about everything. And then Moira decides to activate the beacon calling Jean to her. And now the real fight is on, as the Phoenix now is able to locate Enigma and begin their battle. But as Enigma begins to flex his muscles and ready himself, Jean tells him that it doesn't matter how powerful he is. He's only him. But she, on the other hand, is all of the X-Men, as Jean Grey, with the powers of the Phoenix and the strength of all of the X-Men coursing through her, enlarges herself to be as big as Enigma himself. And these two godly entities have a knockdown, drag-out battle. And as she starts to kick his ass, he begins to think that maybe he can run again and hide. But it ain't nowhere to hide, as she gives him the ass whooping of 1,000,000 lifetimes. And now as the fight ends, she descends down on Krakoa and goes right for the love of her life, Scott, and gives him a long-awaited embrace. There's so much for her to tell him about what happened. But now, they've got all the time in the world. Then Mystique asks Destiny if they've won and if Enigma is dead now. But she tells her that he's at the moment of death forever. So she does count that as a win. And now that that's over with, Rasputin 4 is ready to take out Sinister. But now he's nowhere to be seen, and when Exodus asks Destiny where he is, she refuses to tell him. But she assures him that he will indeed pay for his sins. And then we pick up with Xavier 1 week later, as now an army converges in on him. But he willingly gives himself up, and he tells them to lock him away and throw away the key. So he must indeed be that prisoner that everybody is wondering about. But now back in Moira's timeline, when the moment comes for her powers to activate, this time, nothing happens. She's finally free, and it's over. And that, my friends, is the end of this issue in this miniseries. So what did you guys think about that issue? And how you guys feeling about the end of the Krakoan era as a whole? Did you like how this thing is turning out with now only the finale to the Miss Marvel series and X-Men 35 left? What questions do you guys still have that need answering? And what other conspiracy theories do you guys have for me? You know I want to hear them all. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you can do so by stopping by the Comics Icon store and grabbing you up some of this merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video available for download as well. Or you guys can support by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership, and it'll be a link in the description to join. But with your membership, your voice will be heard during our interactive live streams with yours truly, where we could talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic book news. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and up to 20% off of Comics Icon's merchandise from the Comics Icon store. And now we've got new tiers to the memberships as well, starting at just 99 cents. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of those, then you can still be a tremendous help to the future of this channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time.